On today's Locked On Senators, have a weekend. The Ottawa Senators defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens on back-to-back nights.
And our SensCentral Citizen, Pat, was at that Toronto game, and he made the golf clap famous. We talked to him all about that.
And Artem Zub is back at Sens practice. We'll have a few other notes for you on a busy Monday ahead of the final game before a 10-day break. It's all brought to you by Farm to Fork. Visit farm2forkdelivery.ca and put in promo code SENS40 for $40 off your first purchase. That's SENS40 for $40 off your first purchase at farm2forkdelivery.ca. This is the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I'm Jake Sanderson, and you're listening to Locked On Senators podcast.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Welcome inside episode 724 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today is Monday, January 30th. Happy birthday to Thomas Chabot. I hope he's doing all right without Colin White to be his birthday buddy for the first time. But Pilsy, I'm sure he's flying high after what was an awesome weekend to be a Sens fan.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Sens fan or a Sens player or part of Sens management, that's what you want to see from that weekend. A 6-2 road win up against the Leafs in Toronto, and then bring it back home. The next night, Anton Forsberg playing in back-to-back games, not a big deal, a 5-0 shutout up against the Montreal Canadiens. So, I mean, we couldn't have scripted that any better, Ross, if you ask me. Like, if you would have asked me what my expectations were, I wouldn't have even tried to be positive Pilsy and reach for these score totals here. So just an incredible weekend. The postcasts were all time, and we can't thank you guys enough for making that weekend fun for everyone.
And remember, the postcast is still available. You can find it wherever you download your Locked On Senators podcast and on YouTube. The replay is golden. We appreciate everyone who comes live in the chat on YouTube. The vibes were at an all-time high on Friday, and then they went all-time high on Saturday. Can they continue tomorrow? The Senators in Montreal, and there will be a different butt on the bench. And that's because Kevin Mandolese has been reassigned to the Belleville Sens, and up comes the Great Dane. Mads Søgaard recovered from injury, played on the weekend. Not the best game for the Belleville Sens as a whole. Tough weekend for them. But Mads Søgaard is up with the big club, and I think that's a good thing for him to get some shots. But well, you know what? We'll touch on some lineup notes from practice. Tyler Boucher practicing at least before the line rushes portion of Senators practice. Sounds like he's out for a couple more weeks. He'll be back in the OHL. Don't stand down.
Everybody easy.
This is not an Owen Beck situation like with Montreal where they had him up from the OHL, but great to see him around the guys. I'm sure that's good for his mental health, good for his progression as a prospect to be like, hey, this is what the NHLers are doing, okay? A day in the life type thing. So Boucher was at practice, and so was Artem Zub. I'm rocking the T-shirt. I'm fired up. But Pilsy, give me your overall impression of the weekend. Like, who was your number one standout? I know we did our SensCentral standouts, and by the way, we are going to start cutting those up and putting them individually on YouTube in case you just want to have a guy or two to, shoot the breeze at the water cooler the next day and you don't have time for the whole postcast. We'll cut those SensCentral standouts. We did some on Friday, some on Saturday. I need you to mush them all together, Pilsy. Who was your number one Senator this weekend?
For me, this is an easy choice, Ross. It's Claude Giroux. I mean, 2 goals and an assist up against Montreal, and then a goal and an assist up against Toronto. And that goal he scored up against Toronto that led to Pat's infamous golf clap was incredible. It was like, not only was it a beautiful toe drag move and a nice shot, but it was classic Claude Giroux not giving up on the play, and he gets a turnover sends it the other way, and scores all by himself, a one-man show. So Claude Giroux, for me, was the star this weekend for the Ottawa Senators.
Absolutely. If that was Austin Matthews scoring that goal, it would have led SportsCenter this morning, 2 days later, even with NFL Conference Championships, everything going on. If Matthews did that, oh my God,
Ross,
we're hearing about it.
They'd be breaking that goal down in Sportsnet's first intermission of Habs versus Ottawa on Tuesday. That's what would be happening.
100% right. So hilarious to see that all kind of trickle down with the way the Senators dominated that game. We're not going to get into the Matt Murray discussion. If you want to hear about how he ducked the Ottawa Senators, did not play, you can go check out the postcast from Friday. Pillsy, lots to get to today, including, you mentioned our SensCentral Citizen. We had to move it up to Monday because this was too juicy. Shout out Greener, my boy, for being able to hook that up in a timely fashion after the golf clap on Friday. Golf claps for Greener. Golf claps for Greener for that one. Appreciate you, brother. And then we also have a giveaway. We're giving away 2 100-level tickets to Senators Flames on February 13th. We are basically ticket dealers at this point, Pills.
That's incredible. Like, to get multiple chances at getting 100-level seats, all you got to do is listen and subscribe to the show. Great.
Tough to beat.
Tough
and we're
to
going to
beat.
have that later
in this
on.
Economy? Jeez.
And shout out to Shawarma Palace, who provided these tickets.
Big
and
time shout
they
out.
would love it if you go follow them on Twitter, shawarma_Palace. Abbas is an awesome dude, and
Yes.
we appreciate what he does for our show. And look out, we're going to do something with them in 2 weeks when we come to Ottawa. We'll figure it out. We also are going to be at the GLEBE Central Pub, which we're fired up for. Tickets are available. I'm going to put it in the description of this bio. Man, we're keeping the price at $15. So for $15, you get an LOSP live show. You get tickets to and from the game. Again, the tickets to the game, like to be at the game in the arena, sold separately. This is a shuttle.
Yes.
A shuttle to the CTC and a shuttle back to the GLEBE Central Pub after. Details, 4 p.m. We'll touch on it in the ad read coming up. But Pillsy, we've got a great conversation with Patty coming up, and then we'll finish off today's show with some news and notes from a Monday practice. All that's coming up. You are listening to Locked On Senators.
And today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Athletic Greens. Guys, I'm simple. I like easy things to make my life better, and Athletic Greens is one of those. Just 1 scoop of AG1 in your cup of water every morning before breakfast, and you're starting the day off right. You're getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and more. This special blend, it does so many good things. It helps your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, all those things. And the best part is it's lifestyle friendly. So no matter if you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it's all good. There's no GMOs, nasty chemicals, or artificial anything. And I still love the taste, personally. I think it tastes great. It costs less than your coffee habit if you're going out getting a coffee before every day at work. Why not switch to AG Greens? Cheaper, tastes better, and is better for you. That's the AG1 way. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in your cup of water every day, guys. I can do it. You can do it. And to make it even easier, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. All you got to do is go visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance from Athletic Greens.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Farm to Fork. It's our presenting sponsor every Monday. Farm to Fork. Make sure you're checking them out online. Farm to Fork with the number 2, farm2forkdelivery.ca, and taste the Farm to Fork difference. Now, our friends at farm2forkdelivery.ca have a very interactive, easy to navigate website, and you can check it all out today. I'm going to pull up one of my favorites, something that I cannot wait to get my hands on. I've already got my order placed coming to Ottawa right when I get into town, and they're also now delivering to Belleville, Brockville. You can follow them on Instagram, and you'll be able to see where their delivery area heads out to. Now, one of my favorite things, who doesn't love a tomahawk? It's such a show-me piece of meat. Like you bring a tomahawk out when you're serving your friends at dinner. It's a wow factor. There's no question about it. And you can get a tomahawk pork chop at farmtoforkdelivery.ca today. 6 chops for $79. What a deal. And if you use our promo code SENS40, you will get $40 off your first purchase. SENS40, $40 off your first purchase. It's not even just the tomahawks. I mean, pork, obviously, great if you love it. Bacon wrapped chicken breast, right up there. And then always make sure you're checking out the specials at farmtoforkdelivery.ca. Whether it's lean ground beef for $89 for 10 pounds of it, Pilsy. Or if you want steak, the variety bag, $150. Again, before promo code SENS40. 9 steaks for $150. And the beauty is they're all flash frozen right away. So they stay perfectly fresh when you thaw it out. All natural, antibiotic and hormone free, ethically raised, and first and foremost, absolutely delicious. So check them out. Go to farmtoforkdelivery.ca and use the limited time promo SENS40 for $40 off your first purchase. Taste the farm to fork difference. You will never go back to grocery store meats. All right, Pilsy. Farm to fork. Now I'm starving.
Yeah, Ross, you mentioned you're having those pork tomahawks sent to Ottawa. Well, you're going to share those with me while I'm there with you, right?
Of course. Right in
Okay,
between
good.
Shawarma Palace stops, we will absolutely be having some of that right there.
Ooh.
I love it. I love it. So what we have now is a SensCentral Citizen that, you know what? I think we have to pull up this video because what if somebody was listening to the game on the radio? What if somebody did not see the beauty that was a perfectly executed golf clap? So if you're watching on YouTube right now, there's no volume. So if anyone is just listening to this, you'll have to bear with us. But this is about as good as it gets when it comes to a golf clap. And you can see my favorite part here, Pilsy, is the orange toque that just pops up. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go too.
Yeah, if all you guys are leaving, I'm out too. Yeah.
You'll love to see it. So without further ado, the man behind the golf clap, here is this week's SensCentral Citizen. It's Patty Hinds. All right, we now welcome on this week's SensCentral Citizen. You might recognize that face. It's Patty Hinds. You can go follow him on Twitter as well, at Patty Hinds 11. Patty, how was your weekend, man?
Great weekend. Great weekend.
So you were
All
boots
around.
on the ground in Toronto. For anybody who hasn't seen the meme, we'll call it, we'll put it in that level.
A masterpiece.
After a 6-2 goal, highlight reel goal, I may add, from Claude Giroux. Sportsnet cuts to the crowd, and we love our beat the traffic chants, but with 6 minutes left, Patty, you went with the golf clap. What was going through your mind? Take me into that moment.
Well, when you score at Scotiabank, you got all that, there's a few Sens fans in your area usually that are standing up clapping. So what a goal from Giroux! Come on. And then, so I was just standing up, giving an old clap, and then looking for all the Sens fans, and I realized all the Leaf fans were heading out 6 minutes to go. So
yeah, and I mean that's a good time to clap for them. And we were saying on the postcast, Pat, is you don't want to clap too loud. You might startle Leafs fans. They're not used to loud noises in that building. It's usually pretty quiet. So that was pretty respectful for you. Just a nice, polite golf clap. Like, have a good night.
Exactly. And they can get pretty rowdy down there. I don't want to upset too many Leaf fans.
Okay, good call.
Yeah, man, no, that was awesome. So what, you're living in Toronto all the time?
Yeah, exactly. I moved out here in April.
And so wait, if you moved out here in April, is this your first Battle of Ontario in Toronto?
No, I've been lucky enough to go to a couple. So I went to the one, I think it was like the second game of the season. We went to that one.
Yeah.
This one way more exciting.
Oh yeah, even though Giroux scored late in that game as well, but to tie it.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember
his first goal as a Senator. Yep.
Yeah,
wow.
Right. And then they gave it up right after. But how'd you originally become a Sens fan? You're living in Toronto. Are you from Ottawa originally?
So from Ottawa, grew up a Sens fan. I was a big Zdeno Chara and Wade Redden guy back in the day. But yeah, grew up in Ottawa, always a Sens fan, not switching over in Toronto.
No, heck no. Dude, Chara is such a solid name drop there for first favorite Senator. So if I'm doing my math right, you probably jumped on the bandwagon around like 2000, give or take?
Yeah, I'd say around there. I mean, I was born in 96, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to give you a couple years here to form it up, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of the Sens? Like if you're trying to sell a buddy on being a Sens fan, like what YouTube video would you pull up and show them?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I would say like the Alfie OT winner in Buffalo.
Yeah,
by far, that's my biggest memory. I remember where I watched it when I watched it.
Yep.
That was I'd say that's the highlight.
I feel like that's a lot of people's moment. I feel like every Sens fan knows where they were when that happened. So that's a great one for sure. Now, have you had a chance to go to a lot of games in Ottawa while you were growing up there? Do you have any memories of like live moments that stood out for you?
Live moments. I would say the Kyle Turris OT winner against the Rangers. I was at that game. So that was a big one. We had a bunch of buddies at the game. That was a good time. But yeah, I was able to go to quite a few games last year. I think we were season ticket holders last year before I moved out here. So it was we got to see a lot of the games. Although we weren't doing all that great last year, it was still good.
No doubt. And man, that 2017 run was awesome. But that tourist game, if I'm not mistaken, weren't they down like 3 separate times and they kept battling back?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. We need to get the CTC back to playoff atmosphere sooner rather than later, no doubt. I want to take it back to the reaction you got in the crowd. Were Leaf fans just kind of at that point, 6 minutes left, they're just like, you know what, let's let this guy have it? Or were some guys giving it back to you?
Honestly, there was no one giving it back to me. I mean,
surprising. How
could they? Look at the score. But no, I just found it hilarious how those tickets are just insanely expensive. And there's still 6 minutes left. You pay all that money for those tickets, and you're leaving.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I don't care if the team's leaving.
Were you upset you didn't get to see Matt Murray in net?
Yes, I actually thought he was playing for the first 2-3 minutes of the game, and I realized he wasn't even in. And someone texted me, said he got hurt in warm-up. So I was like, what?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're at the game, there's no reason to think you're like, all right, he's been named the starter. All right, I saw him taking shots in warm-up.
Yeah.
He's going to play in the game. That's typically how it goes for a starting goalie, but not the Matt Murray way.
Did you guys get to the bottom of what happened to him?
Apparently it's an ankle. I don't know. Everyone was making excuses for him in warm-up that Nylander took a shot high off his collarbone or something. I think
but then it came out as an ankle.
Yeah, ankle's a long way from your shoulder.
No, I'm no doctor, but yeah, that one didn't really make sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, now they're calling up some 20-year-old out of the minors, and you hear Sheldon Keefe after the game. He's like, "Man, Ilya Samsonov was put in a bad spot tonight," and then just deadpans at the camera. But hey, when that game developed, it was close, right? The Sens took a lead. Yeah. Toronto came back. At what point were you pretty confident? Was it the Brady goal right before Giroux, or did you have to wait for that 6-2 goal to stand up and let everybody know?
Well. So Brady scored 30 seconds into the period?
Yeah, right? it was early.
Yeah, we were just coming back from drinks and I didn't see it. So I get into the rink and I'm like, wait, that's another goal. I look at the Sens fan as I'm walking down. I'm like, who scored? Who scored? This guy was just hammered. He's just like, what?
He's like, I don't know.
He's like, I was like, who scored? And I didn't get anything. But then I figured out that it was Tkachuk. And then I saw the replay of the goal. Wow. That was a highlight reel goal too.
Yeah, it was. We've got our tinfoil hats on because last spring, I believe it was in Toronto as well, kind of the back and forth game. I think it was Giordano in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. But Brady Tkachuk scored, and then Mitch Marner scored later and did the Frank the Tank, like the celly that Brady's done all the time. Yeah. So I put my tinfoil hat on. Brady scores that goal, goes one knee down, and kind of gives it the classic Mitch Marner, like Austin Matthews do it all the time, where they kind of like move their hand up and down all weird. And I'm saying that was him mocking the Leafs bench because he was kind of staring that way. But
yeah, he was in that picture after Ross. He was looking right at them. Oh yeah,
but that's still runner up for the night. I'm giving Patty the edge. That was an unreal moment, and we always we love boots on the ground is one of our favorite parts. But when fans follow the team, or in your case, go see them in your hometown and it's at a road atmosphere, like that's one of the best, man. Have you gotten to see the Sens anywhere outside of Toronto? Because for me, I'm working on getting a few more under my belt, because there's nothing better. You make a best friend anytime you see a Sens fan. Yep. When you're on the road, you're like, we got that in common.
Yeah, I remember I walked into the stadium and I saw like no Sens jerseys, and I was like, no, it's not going to be one of those games, is it? But no, we had a pretty good crew, at least in my section. But no, I actually haven't been to any other games outside of Toronto and Ottawa, I don't think. I want to get to the Bell Center.
The Bell Center's next for you?
Yeah, I want to get there.
That's going to be – hey, save it for when both teams are good. And if Montreal even the cellar – I was going to say the basement. We're kind of in the basement. The cellar underneath the basement. Where was I going to go with that? When it comes to Toronto, and we mentioned at the game, you're standing up. Did you have a crew of Sens fans with you, or were you riding solo with the jersey?
So I was with 3 buddies. All of them are Leaf fans.
Right. So you're.
They supplied the tickets. So I mean, I don't care both, but it was we had a good crew. They were giving it to me when the Leafs were scoring, and I was giving it to them when we were scoring. So it's a good little battle. And
it's almost a little protection too, eh? If somebody takes it a little too seriously in the hall, you got someone with the blue, just be like, "Hey, dude, relax. Hey, we're all here for fun."
Yeah, exactly.
Or leave early, eh?
Or leave early.
That's awesome. Man. So, what do you think about the team right now? Are you still cautiously optimistic? You want to finish the year off strong, or are you all in for like, hey, let's just lose some games. Let's get that better draft pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're not getting Bedard, there's no sense in tanking, right?
Correct.
Like, I think we're at kind of like an inflection point here, where either they turn it on and they make a push, or shut it all down.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's at that awkward stage. Like, I don't know what way to go here, but in the same flip side, Pat, if you don't think you're a true cup contender, you can't put that much into this season, and you can't be out there getting rentals. So it's like you can't fully tank that hard, and you can't fully go for the playoffs that hard either. Like, what do you think the next move is going to be here? Like, do you think Dorion just starts shipping off expiring contracts, or do you think he starts working on getting guys for next year's squad, like guys with term?
Yeah, and I think, like, I mean, as we've seen the last Stanley Cup champions, like, the deadline is huge. You need to know what you're doing going into that and getting your depth guys if you're making a push. But I don't know. I think there's obviously a few expiring contracts that the Sens need to move on from. But I don't think they can really make a huge splash at the deadline, not with the state of the team. You need to see if Josh Norris is going to be available going forward.
Dude, how'd Ridley look live?
Oh, amazing. He looks really good with those two.
Hey, he's got some pace on him. He looks like he's flying through neutral zone.
Yeah. No, he looked really good. I was really impressed with him. Also, like, seeing Sanderson skating live is just insane.
It's awesome.
Such a smooth skater.
He was trying to dodge me forever. Sanderson, I even went down. I'm in Winnipeg, so it's an hour-and-a-half drive to North Dakota. He got sick the day of the game. I missed it. Didn't get to see him. I'm sitting in the hotel room scrolling through. It's like, oh, man, he's out for the weekend. So then finally we were able to see him at the home opener, and it's a treat to watch. He's only going to get better, too, which makes it even more exciting. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here because we're talking Ridley Gregg. I'm seeing people already going way too early. You talked about Norris. He'll be back. You have him and Stützle as your 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with the Pinto-Gregg conversation? Do you keep both and move one to the wing? Do you have a horse in the race? Who are you handicapping as the more important player down the road?
I mean, it's too small of a sample size from Gregg right now. I like Shane Pinto. I think he's I think he can be a great piece, sniper. Like, that guy's shot is great, and he's a good playmaker too. So I would say he's probably got the edge right now. But if you can keep both, you keep both.
Yeah.
Problem is there might just be too much skill in that top center position, right?
Yeah. No, that's fair. And injuries happen, right? And at that point, you can shift a guy back to center like we've seen with no shoulder, right?
I've also seen a few like lineups where Greg is playing on the wing too. So if he can switch and swap, and you got a guy like Giroux that can just take all the face-offs, like he can work. He can work it around.
It's not a bad idea. That's the thing. I don't want to see a situation where we're looking at trading either of these guys. So why not try to make it work? And then if that doesn't work, then you can explore those options.
Yeah, especially at that center position with Norris, right? We don't really know what's going on with that, how well he's going to recover. So, as much depth at the center position in the NHL is going to be good, right?
Absolutely. All right, Patty. Well, we appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You got any final thoughts on the team you want to get off your chest?
Not really. I mean, hopefully they can make a little bit of a push here. It was a good weekend. So they've looked good in the last 3. So let's keep that going.
Let's keep it rolling, as the guys say after every single Goggles video.
How we roll.
Final question for me, Pat. What jersey were you wearing at that game? I saw his white one, but is it? Do you have it named? Is there a player on the back?
I got no name on the back.
All right, so that leads into my question. What name are you going to get put on that jersey? Or I guess spin zone to the question I like asking is, what's the next Sens jersey you're going to buy? What color, what name?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually have recently really liked the reverse retros. At first I was like, meh, but I would say one of the 2 black ones, and I don't know. I think Brady. I think it's got to be 7.
Fair.
Yeah, get the C on the front too. I mean, you were captain of Boots on the Ground on Friday night. So we appreciate you for making sure that the Scotiabank Arena knew what was going on in that game. Patty Hinds, we appreciate you. Everybody, golf claps for Patty Hinds on his way out at Patty Hinds 11. Appreciate you, brother. We'll do this again down the road. And I'd love, if I'm in Toronto, I'm going to have to hit you up because I need a team golf clap at Scotiabank Arena next time. Appreciate you, man.
For sure. Take care, boys.
All right, Pillsy. Coming up, we still have to get to today's lineup notes, the recall. What does it all mean with 1 game left before the Christmas break? I'm Ross Levitan and Brandon Piller. Keep listening to Locked On Senators.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. We're so stoked about our new sportsbook partner. It's the #1 sportsbook in America and the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's even better, guys. Ross, I can't believe this new deal that they have. For new customers, join today and start with a $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel is awesome because they have all your favorite bets. Your money lines, your puck lines, your props, your over-unders, your parlays, and you can even win more, bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Ross, this was a weekend for me. As you guys know, I was riding the Cincinnati Bengals massively in this one. I thought it was their time to go to back-to-back Super Bowls. But, Ross, you know what I love? FanDuel's promotion of no sweat first bet. It was my first bet betting on the Bengals with FanDuel. So I put a big amount in. I was feeling good. But with the no sweat bet promotion, if you lose, you get your money back in bonuses. So yes, I did lose. But I didn't lose that money as I've got it in bonus money with FanDuel here. So that's some of the sweet promotions. Check out their promotions on the tab in the app. The app is easy to use and you are going to love it. So place your first $5 bet, get $150 in free bets, win or lose for our American friends at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends, our family at Shawarma Palace. Make sure you're heading out to Shawarma Palace on Sens game days because game days taste better at Shawarma Palace. You can visit them at any of their 9 Ottawa locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're never too far from a Shawarma Palace. It's the best spot to get full, but not at the expense of delicious flavor. The portion size is more economical than going to a grocery store. Head there a couple times a week. And we always talk about the shawarma, because it's amazing, but they actually have lots of other great food at Shawarma Palace as well. So if you're in the mood for something different, make sure you're heading to Shawarma Palace. And don't be shy. Get the baklava. It's always there, always sweet, always a nice little way to end the meal. But I'm always a chicken platter guy, extra garlic. Thank you very much. And it's always at Shawarma Palace. I won't even have shawarma outside of the Palace because I know I'm just setting myself up for disappointment. We love our friends at Shawarma Palace, and because of them, we're about to give away 2 100 level tickets to the Ottawa Senators game on February 13th against the Calgary Flames. Abbas has already said he's coming on February 17th too. So we're fired up. We got Shawarma Palace on board, and make sure you head over there. And if you're not able to get to a Shawarma Palace, it's all good. You're able to get there by having them get to you on Uber Eats. So if you're able to, get to Shawarma Palace as soon as possible. Dine at any of their 9 locations surrounding Ottawa, from Bank Street to Rideau. You're never too far, I promise, from Shawarma Palace. Sens game days taste better at Shawarma Palace. It's Shawarma Palace. You're among family at Shawarma Palace. All right, Pillsy. So, final segment of a Monday show. Lots to get to. A busy show today. We still have the giveaway to get to, but Sens practice notes. Let's start there. Are you surprised that they made the swap between Mandolese and Mad Sogard? To me, it seems like a little meh. It's one game. And they're likely going to sit on the bench because Forsey's coming off a shutout, 2 days off in between games. I don't know if this was necessary.
Yeah, I was a little confused by it as well. Maybe just, I mean, Mando's been called up a decent amount this year, sitting on the bench, especially at the start of the year. So maybe they just want to give Sogard a taste of the NHL action and maybe get Mando back down playing some games in the AHL. But the Belleville Senators don't play till Thursday. So neither of those guys are getting games in time. So it is an interesting move for sure, Ross. Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Especially with Matt Sogard coming off injury, right? You're just like, hey, is this maybe just to get his confidence back? And like, hey, I can stop NHL shooters. I'm going to be solid, because Matt's had such a great run for a while there in the AHL. And then the last game, it just didn't go his way. And maybe that's just coming back from injury, right? They're not all going to go your way, but 6 goals against on 44 shots. And again, 44 shots, right? So it's not like he got a whole lot of help either. But even the game before that, he played before injury, probably wasn't his best either. 4 goals on 23 shots, right? Before that, he was on a streak where he had 3 great starts in a row. So I don't know if it's just a matter of getting his confidence back or what it is. But right now, when you look at the future of the Ottawa Senators, and we can transition this into maybe a little rumor that came out on the weekend, but he's kind of the best bet as the goalie of the future, depending on where you're at with it all. So I don't hate it. I mean, it's a pretty minor move. Again, in all likelihood, Forsberg starts, but I do think it's interesting with just the one game before the break.
Yeah, it certainly is interesting, but I don't mind giving all these guys different tastes of the NHL, and it's a nice little pay boost for Matt Sogard for a while here, so nothing wrong with seeing our friend get a little extra shekels on his paycheck.
Absolutely love that. So, another note at practice. Artem Zub, for the first time since blocking a shot off his foot. That's great to see. I'd imagine he doesn't play tomorrow, but maybe right after the break, that matinee against Edmonton, if he's got that circled, I think that'd be great. He's missed so much time this year, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I really think he's going to be back after the break, Ross, and that'll be a huge boost for the squad.
8 minutes ago, DJ Smith says as much. Zub will not play tomorrow. Expect him back after the break. However, Thomas Shabbat, birthday boy, maintenance day for him. He will play tomorrow. Nice. And easy to laugh and be like, yeah, he plays way too much. Of course, he needs a maintenance day. His ice time's actually been down the last 3 games. Oh, wait, they've won the last 3 games. Isn't that a nice little coincidence that we have going there?
Well, Ross, I think the coincidence more can be looked at with Ridley Gregg. They are a perfect 3-0 since Ridley has entered the lineup. So I don't anticipate we'll see Ridley Gregg down playing in Belleville anytime soon.
And we mentioned Tyler Boucher already with the Senators at practice today. Dave Cameron, head coach of the 6-7s, was on TSN 1200 today saying we're planning to play without Boucher for the next month or so. So that's a tough, shoulder as well. It's a tough situation, but hey, that's a great team. It's not like they're battling for a playoff berth. They've pretty much got one locked, sealed, delivered. So looking forward to him being back at 100% when he does make that return. All right. Austin Watson, also still out of the lineup. Do you think that's as simple as, hey, we don't switch the winning lineup?
I mean, that's DJ's kind of motto there, and they're 3-0. So I would say, yeah, it is as simple as that, Ross. And especially, look, we like Waddy and we're cheering for him, but when you're kind of brought in to be the enforcer and that's your last fight, who was that up against again?
Oh, Matt Martin.
Yeah. Not great. So I think it's good to give Waddy a little bit of a break here.
Exactly, and that's all it is. I'm sure he'll be playing games throughout the rest of the season, and it's not like he's out for a long period of time. But for people saying like, hey, well, they won with him in that Islanders game, why'd they take him out? When you're able to put a guy like Tyler Mott, who is objectively a better hockey player, you have to make that move, and I'm glad they did. Mott, I mean, there's nothing special on the weekend, but at the same time, you're like, hey, get your feet wet. We'll get you back up to speed. After he missed like 2 months, he was out for quite a while. But Tyler Mott back, and all of a sudden the Sens are getting a bit healthy. Tomorrow we'll have a full game day preview. Sens at Habs. Can they make it 4 straight going to the break? That would be good for the vibes. I would appreciate
Absolutely, they can, Ross. I don't see any reason why not, and especially from Montreal's side.
Absolutely
they can. No Evgeny Dadonov, so dodging a bullet there if you're the Ottawa Senators. You don't have to play up against Dadonov. And I'm pretty sure I saw 2 other guys dealing with injuries. It might have been Dvorak and Dak. I'd have to double check on that, but I think they're going to have an even shorter lineup than they did up against Ottawa in the last game. So, and then Forsey's going to have some rest. You hopefully get some guys back for the Sens, guys getting a little their feet under them, like you mentioned, Tyler Mott. So I don't see any reason why the Sens can't go into this break with a 4-game win streak.
Let's get it.
Woo!
I would appreciate that. The Sens, no, we're not saying the P word, but in the second wild card spot, I'll say that in confidence. I can tell you that they're 8 points back right now of the Pittsburgh Penguins, with about 45 teams in between them and the Penguins. All right, why don't we do a giveaway?
Let's do it.
2 tickets. Senators, why don't you promo the GLEBE Central Pub meetup, and I'll pull up the Twitter contest randomizer, and then we'll give away these Sens tickets.
Gladly, Ross. I mean, I am so fired up about this event. Every time we've done events, we try to up it a little bit, but we're smashing through the walls of what we've done before, because this isn't just a meetup. Yes, it is a meetup. We want to meet with you guys and have a good time like we have every other event we've done, but we're doing it at the GLEBE Central Pub, a great sponsor of the show and the postcast. We are doing a live show. We've never done a live show before. It's going to be an absolute time. It's going to be more of a chit-chat, hanging out with your friends at the bar type of show, rather than the hard-hitting facts, analysis, and opinions that you usually get with this show. And Ross, the best part is,
we'll call it like a mailbag episode. Basically, we'll just shoot the breeze with you.
This is strictly an episode for the people, and for the people that are there, because I don't think we're going to be recording this or streaming it anywhere. So if you want to catch this episode, you got to head to 779 Bank Street at the GLEBE Central Pub.
$15 gets you to and from the game and the live show. There's going to be drink specials, great food, great people, great music. It's just going to be an absolute vibe. As at Aleem's Martian, our special guest, who will join us for this pilgrimage, we will be having a great time starting at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. start, so get out of work early, do what you have to do that. All right.
And sorry, we buried the lead. We got to tell you when it is. It's Friday, February 17th at the GLEBE Central Pub. And the game, it's not just any old Sens game. It's the Chris Neil jersey retirement game. So this is going to be an absolute blast. And as Ross mentioned earlier, I just want to double down so people don't get confused. The ticket gives you bus shuttle passes and a spot at the GLEBE Central Pub for the live show. It does not include a ticket to the hockey game. So just be prepared. You need 2 tickets for this to all work out here.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of tickets, we do have tickets to give away for the Calgary Flames loan visit to Ottawa this season. We appreciate everybody who enters the contest. You can enter the contests whenever we post them by following on Twitter at SensCentral. In this in particular case, to follow shawarma_Palace. Our friends at Palace are providing these great tickets in section 108 row G. Great view. We always post the view of the tickets that we put up on Twitter, and then just post a screenshot that you're following on YouTube, or subscribed, I should say. We are 3 away from 5,000, and that's a great milestone. We appreciate everybody for making us your first listen each and every weekday. And the postcast, I mean, what more do you want from the postcast? The vibes are absolutely electric. The chat on Saturday had 1,250 messages in a 40-minute span. It is a great place to have a community feel. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be here for you in the chat. All right, what do you say? We don't need a picture in your profile, do we? No.
No.
All good. All good. Any. All right. So we're all set here. Continue. Okay, these are 210 entries are loaded.
Okay.
Continue.
Here we go. We're doing this all before your eyes.
Yeah, I don't like draws where people are just like, this guy wins. It's like, well, what if you just picked your buddy or whatnot? We don't want any collusion going on.
And all of these people are our buddies, Ross.
That's the exact point. Should I begin the draw, Pilsy?
Hit it.
Should we golf clap as we do it instead of a drum roll?
Hit the music.
Jason Noonan.
Jason
Noonan 117. You, sir, have 2 tickets to the Calgary Flames visit to the Ottawa Senators on February 13th. Appreciate everybody for coming into this contest. We will have plenty more where it comes from. And back to the GLEBE Central Pub, I just want to say, Doodling Daryl, by the way, poster coming soon for the GLEBE Central Pub meetup. He is providing a Zoop shirt.
No way.
He will be giving it away. We're going to pick up some SensCentral merch. We're going to give some SensCentral merch away.
Yep.
So prizes coming as well at the GLEBE Central Pub. You don't want to miss it as well. All right, Pilsy, lots of promotional stuff to start the week, but we also had a great chat with Patty Hinds.
Yep.
Some Sens notes. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, man. We gotta milk Sens game days. You know what I mean? You get excited, and then when they lose, you're like, oh, this sucks, really? This 10-day break, you're all going to realize that we miss our Sens, no matter how bad they are.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, hey, you might not be happy with me now, but you'll miss me when I'm gone, and I think that certainly is the case for the Ottawa Senators. So, yes, I'm glad it's up against Montreal in Montreal. That's the send-off, because that's a fruit with lots of juice to squeeze out. So we're going to absolutely have a time. And Positive Pilsy is back. Like, I've been positive about this team for multiple days now, Ross. That doesn't happen very often this season. So I'm going to keep those good vibes rolling and rolling all the way to Montreal and beyond. So let's go.
Credit to you for bouncing back after your Bengals. Just absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It's been tough. I've been grieving. Let's just say that. Hashtag NFL rigged, but that's a story for another time.
Final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts are, I wanted to give a shout out to Lats. Did you see that goal Lats got?
Ooh, heck yeah, I did.
Coming down the wing, nice shot, top cheese for the Winnipeg Ice. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Lats because it's been a big adjustment for him, and it seems like he's getting things clicking now. So we love to see that for the mayor of Prince Albert now in Winnipeg.
And they won by 1 goal. So he's a difference maker in that win in Calgary for the Winnipeg Ice yesterday. Final thoughts for me, just on a serious note, big Sens fan. We lost over the weekend, Paulie Moran, who just diehard fan growing up. We always used to be at family functions together and always picking my ear about the Sens, and just an enormous fan, never missed a game. And I was talking to her son, Andrew, and it was my brother, right? And it's almost poetic in a way that she held on for so long. She'd been diagnosed with a uncurable cancer almost a year ago, and she waits for the Sens to kick the crap out of the Leafs and Habs, and then peacefully left with her family by her side. So I just wanted to give a thoughts and prayers, and we're thinking about the whole family in this situation, and she was just a diehard fan. So I really wanted to get that in there and send everyone on their Monday knowing that we're all lucky to be here, and go Sens go. So for Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.